This is Designed Happy, the podcast where we talk about the human side of home design, remodeling, and new construction. I'm Katie.
And I'm TJ, and today we're going to rock some boats and ruffle some feathers.
You didn't read it, did you?
Oh my gosh.
Is that the first time you read that?
No, it's the second
good.
time.
That is a Katie Cashin original. That is me. That's me.
Oh my gosh. Rock
That's
some
me.
boats and ruffle some feathers. Sometimes I can't tell if you wrote it or we start our outlines in AI and then we edit them. So sometimes I can't tell.
I know. What would you have guessed?
I would have guessed AI.
Yeah, no. This was me trying to find a different way to say hot takes.
Okay.
This is me taking it back 60, 70, 80 years to how they would have said hot takes. Yeah, we're going to ruffle some feathers and rock some boats. And are there other turns of phrase that we're gonna something about haunches? I don't think so.
It's okay.
You're like, stop, Katie, stop.
Let's move on. Hey, Katie, I have a question for you.
Yeah, TJ.
It's the end of the year, and I'm always curious. Do you do New Year's resolutions?
I don't.
No?
I don't, but not for any, I don't know, not for any strong reason or nothing. I'm not against them. I just think I have been the type of person throughout my life who I made resolutions every week. I was such a startup energy person. Since I've been born, it's like I would come out of my bedroom in the morning and be like, today's the day that this will begin. And today's the, and I'm also I do best with routine, and I actually don't struggle. I'm thinking back to maybe I've contradicted myself here, but there are a lot of pieces of routine that I don't struggle with. And so I'm also now being someone who is regularly I'm going to start this thing, and being someone who I do it, and I am a boring adult who does thrive on routine. I don't have a lot of I do a lot of the things I think that people would have as their New Year's resolutions. This sounds like me saying, I'm great. I'm amazing. I don't need them. That's not where I'm going. How about you, TJ? Do you do?
No. So I am anti-resolution.
What? Ruffling feathers.
Yeah. I mean, you wrote it down and I read it. So guess what, people? I don't think you should have resolutions either.
Why?
It's so arbitrary. We all just decided on January 1st, I'm going to change my life now. No, I don't. So I don't go to a gym. When I exercise, I exercise at home. But I used to go to a gym, and it would really ruffle my feathers. The first couple months of the year, it's this freaking place is packed. I can't get on a machine. What's going on? And then March comes and it's empty again. So we talk to the kids all the time about intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So I was if you're going to resolve to do something, just do it now. Be like Katie and just walk out of your bedroom. And it's today's the day. That's it. Right?
Yes.
I am not a
I yeah, I'm this and that's why it doesn't the start of the year for me doesn't have startup energy. I'm actually usually very tired at the start of the year. I'm like,
I
it's
accomplished all these resolutions this year. I'm
I'm
exhausted.
exhausted. I'm going to bed. I do, and I used to be, I will say, very anti New Year's resolution, especially as it was like it feels like it is played on by companies and people who want your money, who are like, buy
Mm,
this or subscribe to this or get this membership or whatever, and feeling against it as far as that goes. Like, yes. And also, I think there are also people who really work well with starting lines and who are good and like carry things through. Um, and who like a collective starting line, who like doing something with people who are like starting something kind of in community. So I'm naturally with you, and I think there are people who it works for. So, which is why I'm just not anti, which is again, I feel like I'm just saying I'm really good. I'm really
mm,
better than everybody
mm.
else. Podcast over, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's it. Very, very political answer.
Political or diplomatic?
Yeah, I guess diplomatic, but uh,
Either way, you are not pleased with
hey,
it.
listen. You wrote this stuff, so I'm rocking boats and I'm coming in fired up, Katie.
Coming in hot.
Yeah,
We're not here to please
yeah.
people today.
Can I tell you something that ruffles my feathers? Legit, for real. Um, yeah, it's the topic today. This is our actual topic.
Yes,
It really genuinely bothers me though.
please, because and I don't know why. Because I do not understand why. So, what is getting your feathers ruffled today, TJ? Grinding gears. That's another one.
Oh
What's
yeah, hey, gold star for Katie.
what?
Look at that.
I mean, I already have enough, but
Throw it on the pile.
what is upsetting you? What's frustrating you,
Okay.
TJ?
Have you heard of price per square foot?
Yes,
Yes.
of
Of course
course.
everyone that's the way we talk about how much things in this industry cost.
Well, yeah, that is the truth
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
But what about that is frustrating?
That's the equivalent of these people marketing to you for New Year's.
Really?
It's nonsense. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Which is funny because the name feels like it describes exactly what it means. It is the price you will pay per square foot. I I sometimes try to just like carry the bit of being the antagonist here. I'm really not. What are you saying?
Okay. Okay. So in remodeling,
Yeah.
so if you're going to do stuff to your house, you could remodel or you could build a new house. So there's kind of a fork in the road right there.
Uh-huh.
And price per square foot has a different relationship to those forks.
Oh,
So we'll talk about remodeling first because
okay.
this is egregious. This term has no place. I am so worked up
Are you
about
gonna need
this.
a breathing break?
Yeah,
Okay.
I need. Uh,
What
I'm in distress. So I'm gonna call back to. I need a
we need to
what?
bring you back down to
Yeah,
stress.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Why?
okay. So people think I'm doing a project in my kitchen and I'm going to open up the kitchen to my living room. And the kitchen is, make up a number, 200 square feet. And the living room's 200 square feet. And that's 400 square feet of space. And I went on Google and it tells me that, it should cost $200 a square foot to
Mm,
do a home project. So my project should cost $80,000,
okay.
right? If that math is right.
Yeah.
All the the $200 per square foot doesn't mean anything because the context is so important. So let's say we go to a subdivision where every single house in the subdivision is exactly the same. They were
Yeah.
built at the same time by the same contractor with the same subcontractors with the same finished materials. They are identical. Okay. Family A lives in one house and family B lives in another house.
Mm-hmm.
They have different goals and they have different resources and
Right.
they have different taste. So what price per square foot does, it's a lowest common denominator. Like it casts the widest possible net.
Mm-hmm.
And to work well in this industry, you need to have the narrowest focus possible. So there's no such thing as a one size fits all. So to say, like, let's
Yeah.
say family A and family B, they both want to do a bump out. They want to add space to the back of their house and they both want to do a kitchen remodel. So like
Mm-hmm.
big picture, you would say, okay, those projects are the same. But what if one family wants Sub-Zero and a fancy European range, and the other family, wants a scratch and dent one, and like they're just trying to get the space, and the
Yeah.
other family so like there's so much nuance in it that it's impossible to say. Also, I'm just going to keep talking, Katie. I'm just going to
I,
keep
I
keep firing words. Also,
keep going. Let it out.
the contractors doing the work, unless it's the same exact contractor
Uh-huh.
doing the remodel, their levels of service are going to be different. So the amount of money you pay them is going to be different. So there is no good way
You're like, do you
to,
see
to
what I'm saying? You're like,
just,
are you with
yeah.
me? I now know how to get you closer to the screen. Can uh, as you're saying this, I guess what I'm assuming and hearing that I'm not sure is accurate is that this is one of those pieces of information. Yeah, you breathe. Why this is one of those pieces of information that people can find on the internet. You're saying it is an average that they are finding. Um, and it is a case in which the average cost serve, doesn't actually serve, doesn't, it is like false information for them. Um, but it is, I, I imagine as you see it, when you do that Google search, when you see that price sticks
Mhm.
and like gets priority over even what you might really value in your renovation. But it's something like, I don't know. Is that true though? That it's something that like that price sticks once people
It
find
does,
it,
yeah.
and that alone becomes a barrier?
So as we've established, I am not a therapist. I know nothing formally about this, but having had money conversations with people for a very long time,
Mhm.
whatever the first number they hear is, that's the number that's embedded in their brain forever. So if
Okay.
if they
Yeah.
see it online or if somebody establishes it, whether it's another company or like that's everything gets compared to that number.
Because it feels verified.
Yeah.
It feels like that's the right number, even though it hasn't necessarily come from a trusted source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me give you another remodeling example. Before I said it's a subdivision where every house is the same
Yeah.
and you're using different contractors for different scopes of work. If we do it the other way and we go to a typical subdivision where every house is different, right? Every house is a little bit different. They were built not at the same time. This wasn't a situation where 100 houses were built like a factory immediately one after another. It's a typical DC suburb.
If you see me I'm not verbal and I'm like, I don't feel, I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm in that neighborhood.
Yeah, right? So like
I'm there.
one house is built in the 50s and another house was built in the 70s and a cluster were built in the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not all the same.
Yeah.
Now, let's say that there's two neighbors. There's person A in the house on the left and person B in the house on the right. Their houses are not the same, but they're going to do exactly the same scope of work with exactly the same level of finish with exactly the same contractor. Their prices are going to be different because the all of the infrastructure inside the house is different. Right? Like if you have a house that was built in the 50s.
It's those terracotta pipes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or whatever
Yeah,
it was.
you got it. Right. Yes. So if you have a house that was built in the 50s,
Yeah.
maybe it's made of brick and block.
Mm.
Maybe if you have a house that's built in the 80s, it might still be brick on the outside, but it's going to be built with wood studs instead of concrete block. Demoing those houses, a rear wall to do a bump out is going to be very different. Tying in electrical from the outside to the inside is going to be very different. So even when you can control for everything, when the houses are different, the price per square foot is still different.
Now I'm in. Now I'm pissed. Let me tell you why. Okay. Because you said, hold on 1 second. I'm going to take my earrings off. She pops up. Audio issues. You said the price per square foot is too wide on that.
Yeah.
I said, oh, it's like a really unhelpful average. What I'm hearing now is it is a decontextualized to the point of inaccurate and ineffective and false number.
Yeah.
It's completely decontextualized.
It's meaningless nonsense.
It is uninformed. It is, yeah, now I'm mad. Now I'm mad. Now I'm mad.
So that's the remodeling fork in the road.
Now there's the new construction.
There's the new construction fork in the road.
Okay.
So let me tell you where price per square foot makes sense. There's only one place. It makes sense if you're buying a new house in a subdivision where everything is exactly the same.
Great.
Right? So if you're...
And that's the only place?
That's it.
That's it.
Right? So, I mean, if you go to Zillow or Redfin or whatever, they tell you the square footage of the house and they tell you the list price. Mm-hmm. Right? So there is always price per square foot available, right? When you're buying houses, and maybe that's a helpful metric when you're making a decision or not. I don't know. But when you're starting a new project,
yeah,
buying brand new construction when every house is exactly the same and their version of choice is, do you want bright white or ivory painted on every wall of the house?
So when there isn't going to be much variance.
Almost none.
Okay.
Do you want black countertops or dark gray countertops?
Chuckle.
Right. You know, when like literally you have two things to pick from and they're all basically the same price point.
Yeah.
Right. Price per square foot could make sense. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking, well, we want to buy new construction and there's this subdivision that's near the city and there's subdivision that's way out in the country, and your budget is this, let's say you're going to spend $1 million, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to get a much smaller house near the city as to way out in the country, right? So like maybe price per square foot is relevant there, and maybe that is a place where if it tells you online that the average in the United States to build a house is $250 a square foot, maybe that's realistic.
Okay.
Except it doesn't account for labor rates. So really what you'd have to do is, if you really wanted to know, you'd
Mm,
have to say, what is the average price per square foot for new construction in the DC metro area? Because if you're building a house in, I don't know, pick up Iowa, I don't know, um, that's going to be a different labor market
right.
than the DC metro area, right? So
So you really have
um,
to localize it.
you have to localize it. You
Okay.
can't do a generic across the country price per square foot because it doesn't take into account the local costs of labor.
You're like, but I could get this for a whole lot less in Kansas.
Yeah. Yes.
I bet you can. Um, okay. So that's the new construction route.
That's so when we went down the new construction, when we started down that
We had
path,
another.
there's another fork.
Yeah, I knew it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go
um,
on.
so we're in the new construction path.
Hmm.
Fork one is it's a tract home.
Hmm.
Fork two is you're building the house from scratch for you. It's a custom home. You're
Custom.
making
Yeah.
all of the decisions. These are the kind of new houses that we would get involved in.
Yeah. What happens there? Give me the bad news. What goes on?
So this is an in between. It's not as bad as remodeling price per square foot. And
Okay.
it's not as, I don't even want to say straightforward because but it's an in between.
Okay.
The reason it's in between is because your tastes might be different than your friend's taste who built a new house. And if you say $400 a square foot is a very popular number in the DC metro area. So like if you talk to builders or if you talk to people who want to build a house, I don't know where this number came up, but a lot of people will say $400 a square foot.
Yeah.
You could very, very easily turn $400 a square foot, which is not ridiculous. You could build a house in the DC metro area that's nice for $400 a square foot. You could easily turn that into $800 a square foot or $1,000 a square foot, depending on what you pick. All right. So if you want to get, a nice 6 burner range, you could get one of those that costs $8,000 and you can get one of those that costs $80,000.
Hmm.
When people are telling you $400 a square foot, I promise you they're in the $8,000 to $10,000 range,
Yeah.
not the $80,000. Right? When you put a hood above that range, you could spend $1,500 on a pretty nice hood. You could spend $15,000
Mm.
on a hood. So the part that's missing is how does this number, $400 a square foot, relate to what I want? What's important to me? And it's really hard to contextualize it before you start the process.
And psychologically, I would, if I may, I would also insert in there. It sounds like something that serves for anybody who it's comfortable to stay in ambivalence to some degree. And ambivalence is I can have what I want and it will only cost me so much. Not having to make that hard choice, not having to make a clear choice. And so it also sounds like a reason that this number um might be something people go back to is it affirms like you can stay in you can stay in this place. You can stay in having which is maybe what gets people into starting a project um but leaves them feeling real crappy once they hit uh once they hit like a place where they really have to make a decision and they can't stay in the having it both ways.
Mhm.
Does that make sense though?
Yeah, and the part where and in it's important to have somebody on your side that understands the difference here, because if you said, "I wanna build a custom home," like custom, like really custom, not like you're going to a subdivision and the house is new and they give you a choice between 2 things, like really custom where you get to pick the floor plan and
Mhm.
you get to pick whatever finishes you want. If you said, "My total budget is," make up a number, $2,000,000. If you wanted to build as much square footage, I want to build as big of a house as possible for $2,000,000, then maybe you say, okay, we're going to try to build at $300 a square foot, and you're going to get vinyl siding and vinyl windows, and you're not going to have a basement, and you're going to have the least expensive gutters that we can get, and shingle and all those things. Like, you could build
Mhm.
a lot of square footage. Or if you said, I want pretty nice stuff, that $400 a square foot level, right? Now you're building a smaller house for the same total investment. Interestingly, what we're seeing, there's a trend where people are spending the same amount of money. They're spending what I said $2,000,000. It doesn't have to be that, but $2,000,000, and they're actually building smaller houses
Hmm.
and doing really nice finishes, like
Hmm.
really elevating the finishes and the systems. So whereas in the $300 a square foot, you might have one big HVAC unit for the whole house. So the whole house gets air conditioning at the same time.
Yeah.
So when in the middle of the day, when you're in the family room and the bedrooms are empty, they're getting air conditioning, and vice versa in the middle of the night. If you bump up to maybe it's $400 square foot, now you can get multiple zones in the house, and you can heat and cool the house when you want it heated and cooled. If
Okay.
you really want to take control over the thermal comfort of your home, you could get 2 units with multiple zones on each unit. And now all of a sudden you can split your house into 4 zones on. So the relationship you want to have to your home
Yeah.
is really going to drive the actual price per square foot number. Because if you're spending $2,000,000, you could build a 2,000 square foot home and spend $1,000 a square foot, and it would be an extremely well built house that's going to last a really long time with great systems, and it'll be exactly what you want it to be. The finishes are going to, right? It's going to be a little
Yeah.
jewel box.
Yes.
Um,
I love that. Mm. I'm s I'm such a small spaces person. Sorry. We could talk about that forever. I'm still not getting a is there an alternative to price per square like, what should people use then?
so let's agree, in remodeling, it's fake. It does not exist. And if somebody is talking to you about price per square foot,
Leave the room.
do not listen. There is no responsible way to talk about price per square foot in remodeling. There are too many variables.
That
So
is a feather ruffling that was a strong statement.
it's
Okay.
it's it, it's irresponsible. You should not do it. Professionals should not do it. Um, Now, you need to talk about budget somehow. So your question is a good one. How do you responsibly talk about budget in remodeling?
Hmm.
I have a pretty strong opinion about this. If you're going the design build route, the company you're working with is responsible for both, so they're going to give you a budget range at the beginning that they're responsible for designing to. Right? So there are pros and cons to all of this stuff, but that's a pretty responsible way
Yeah.
to feel good about the amount of money you're going to invest. Hiring an architect is also a viable path if we've talked previously about, don't just design all your hopes and dreams and then find out what it costs, because that's a recipe for disappointment. So
Again, with what your brain gets stuck on. Yep.
yeah, uh-huh. So if you're hiring the designer first, my suggestion there is don't design your entire project. Our process at Design Happy is we start and then we design about half of the project. And then we get a build partner involved because you need to decide what level of service you want to buy from your construction partner. So they get involved, look at the project, and then say, okay, this is the budget range we're looking at. And once they're on the team, then we can continue the design process to make sure
Mm-hmm.
everybody is aligned on the same team. So to do it responsibly in remodeling, you need to, at some point before you file for permit, once you file for permit, things get more complicated to unwind because you need to revise the permit. Before you file for permit, you need to have a thoughtful conversation with a design and production professional that are going to be on the same team with you.
Mm.
So, very similar if you're building a custom home.
Okay.
Before you get to the point where you're filing for permit, a, a, a lot of people with custom homes hire an architect separate from a builder. Design build is less, it's becoming more popular, but it's less popular in custom home building than it is in remodeling.
Hmm.
Um, so if you're hiring an architect first, design something, don't detail all of it, get to about halfway before you file for permit, talk to a few builders, see what the builders are going to say, well, there's not really enough information yet to give you a price. And the response is, I'm not asking for a price. I'm asking
Okay.
for a budget range. Like I know
Yep.
we haven't gotten a structural engineer involved. I know we don't know what the roof trusses are. There's still stuff we don't know, but what you, the homeowner, are trying to figure out is this a company that I like working with? Am I comfortable with their level of service? What does this company budget in a reasonable, 20% swing for this house on this property? That's the responsible way to do it.
Yeah. And that can all happen after you listen to our episodes on paying and budgeting and how, yeah, how to allocate your resources, and the episodes on like finding the professionals that you want to work with and have those conversations with. And again, this sounds like the point that builds on after that. That's like, get clear on your stuff. And then, since you will be, because you've followed all these steps, like you will be working with professionals where there is enough trust, then you can go phase by phase through this and have these conversations at each point. And that's again, as the sort of stand-in for our listeners here, to hear that specifically in both cases you're saying before the permit is filed for
Mm-hmm.
is when you want to be having these conversations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The earlier the better, but no, once you file for the permit, it gets more
Yeah.
difficult to undo.
Okay. Okay. Are you
Yeah.
feeling better? Are you feeling okay? I've calmed down. Yeah. I think uh, this is one of this is an episode we sort of jumped into without a ton of conversation about, and is I it is much more understandable at this point, to the point of like, oh, it's not just not helpful. It is um really unhelpful. It could really interrupt this process. It could make
It's
this
the
process.
opposite of helpful.
It is not helpful.
Uh,
But no, I guess I can see it being something that creates a barrier in this process, not just for between the homeowners and the home they are wanting, between them and what they actually value and care about, but between them and the service providers they're working with. So I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did we do it? Is
We
that all?
did it. Yeah,
We
look at
did it.
us, ruffling feathers and rocking boats,
And grinding
uh,
gears.
grinding gears. What's that? There's a Harry Con. I'm taking a set. Sit down, you're rocking the boat. Is that a Harry Connick Jr. song?
It's that is from a musical.
Oh, is it?
I think that's from Guys and Dolls, the
Oh,
musical.
is it? For some reason, Harry Connick Jr. sang a version of "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat," and
He
that just
definitely
popped down in
has.
my yeah.
He definitely has. Good. I'm glad you got that in before we were done here.
Everybody was ready to turn this off, and I was like, no, no, no.
Wait a minute. We forgot about Harry Connick Jr. All right.
Okay,
Well,
we're done.
till next time.
We'll
Bye,
see you then.
everybody.